All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. It appears that people are trickling in. We're just going to go ahead and let that happen. All right. Thank you, audience members, for taking the time out for being a part of this webinar today. Today's webinar is for anyone interested in mining engineering and critical minerals. Before we get into the program, I'm going to just start off by introducing Education USA and USCFP, after which I'll give you a quick introduction about who our speaker is today. And then we're going to go ahead and get into the program. I'll hand it over to him. So a little bit about who we are before we start. Education USA is a global network under the US Department of State, made up of over 425 international student advising centers in more than 175 countries. We are your official source to US higher education. Through Education USA, advisors work with advisees to provide updated, comprehensive, and unbiased information on higher education in the United States. In Pakistan, we are part of the United States Educational Foundation in Pakistan, that's USCFP, which is also the Fulbright Commission in the country. USCFP promotes mutual understanding between the people of Pakistan and the people of the United States through educational and cultural exchange. We have offices in Islamabad, Lahore, and Karachi, but we're available for any student that needs our advising or support throughout Pakistan virtually as well. Other than advising, USCFP has the programs department that administers a Fulbright scholarship. You can find out more about the Fulbright scholarship and other fully funded programs on our website, www.uscfp.org. Just a quick resource for some of the audience members if they'd like to take a quick screenshot. If you are unable to take a quick screenshot, then this recording will be available on our YouTube channel as well towards the end of the webinar. So if you're interested, you can go back and view it then. This has a list of highly well-known, top-ranked programs in critical minerals and mining engineering. So this is a good resource to come to. Other than that, you can also connect with Education USA Pakistan through our social media links. Now, before I hand it over to Dr. Hall, allow me to introduce our esteemed guest for today. Dr. Hall is the head of mining engineering and management at the mining engineering and the management department at South Dakota Mines. He's a leading expert in the global mining sector. Dr. Hall brings extensive academic and industry experience, and prior to joining South Dakota Mines, he served as a professor at the University of Alberta in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering and the School of Mining and Petroleum Engineering. He also spent 15 years at the University of British Columbia, where he held the role of Assistant Dean for the Faculty of Engineering. His research focuses on mining equipment design and automation, equipment maintenance and reliability, communications and engineering, and energy reduction. He has published widely in journals and conferences and has worked on international consulting projects across multiple countries. And he's, let's say, to long story short, to summarize it, he is the expert, the go-to person for mining, engineering, and critical minerals. Dr. Hall, I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time out to be with us today. I'd like to thank you for visiting Pakistan. And I'd also like to, although the situation and the circumstances were not in our hands, this session was meant to be a hybrid session, meaning that this was supposed to be a session in which the audience members who are here virtually, you were supposed to be able to come into USCFP and you were supposed to be able to meet Dr. Hall in person because after all, he is in Pakistan. But due to, you've all probably been following the news, due to circumstances outside of our control, we had to change the session to virtual. But nevertheless, we are still very glad, Dr. Hall, that you're able to take time for us and talk to the general public about careers and opportunities in mining engineering and geology and geological engineering. Thank you again very much for taking the time to be with us today. I'll hand it over to you now. Thank you very much.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you perfectly
Thank,
fine.
thanks, Zubair, and thanks for the USC FP and the United States Embassy for facilitating me coming to Pakistan. And welcome to anybody that's online. Feel free to type questions, and I'm happy to in the chat. And then Zubair, Rubab will give them to me. I'm happy to answer them as I go along. Um, I'm excited to share with you my experience in the mining industry. And so I'll start out with a little bit of background about me, South Dakota Mines, where I work, about our mining engineering department, some online training that we offer to the mining industry, and then I'll move into some more specifics about what's happening in the world in the mining industry, and then answer any questions that you have at the end or as we move throughout the discussion. So I didn't start out, my first degree is in mechanical engineering in New Brunswick in Canada. I worked in heavy steel construction for a while. Then I did a master's in mechanical engineering looking at mining equipment. And then after that, I did a PhD in mining. We're looking in master's and PhD were in Ontario, Canada. And then I lived in Chile for a few months as part of my master's research. And then I went to work at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, British Columbia. And there I was an associate professor, taught a lot of different courses, also spent some time up in northern Canada in the oil sands, which is a large oil producing area in Canada it's different than what the oil that we have, in the Middle East. This oil is sand with oil impregnated in it. So you have to separate the oil from the sand through mixing it with hot water and then doing it. It's a heavy oil. So it's a bit more energy intensive to process. And I was an associate dean there for a while, looking after students and our cooperative education program, which is a program where you get certification for having worked a certain number of summers or terms with industry. That enhances your capability for jobs. And for the last 6 years, I've been head of the mining engineering department at South Dakota School of Mines. And I'll talk a little bit about that department specifically. And about 3 years ago, I also became a head of geology and geological engineering. And one of the things that is unique about our school is that we have both mining engineering, geology and geological engineering, and materials and metallurgy. And we're one of 5 schools in the US that have all of those degrees. So it really positions us well to both train students and educate them, as well as to do work that's relevant from finding the ore to mining it to processing it. So I'm sure, like you or like me, I'm not that familiar with the Middle East. You may not be that familiar with North America. So this is a map of the US, and then South Dakota is right here. And then Pierre is the capital of South Dakota. And then we are, I think so I can see here. We are located in Rapid City. Rapid City is a tourist town. South Dakota in general is a agriculture, beef and corn and soy, but there is some mining. And Rapid City, where I live, is close to Mount Rushmore and the Black Hills, so it's got a lot of geological significance, and it has a lot of significance for the U.S. because it's where Mount Rushmore is. So there's a lot of tourists that come to visit the area. There's also a facility called Crazy Horse, which has been under construction as part of our Indigenous culture. Any questions so far? And this is showing where Rapid City is. Okay, so the city itself is, small, 83,000. I'm seeing some hands pop up, so I don't know if they're going to pop a question into the chat, and then someone can just bring it to me. I'm happy to stop and answer questions anywhere. 83,000 people live in the city. It's 55 square miles. Second largest city in South Dakota. The population of South Dakota itself is around 900,000 people. So we're a small state and very small compared to Pakistan, obviously. Weather, we have 4 seasons. It doesn't get that cold there. These are the temperature ranges from 6 degrees in November to April to up as high as 73 for average. We can get as low as minus 30, minus 40 sometimes, and a winter and as high as 30 to 35 degrees Celsius or 100 to 100. It's not very often we go over 100. We're on Mountain Standard Time, and it's known as the City of the Presidents. And you can see in the lower right corner of my screen a picture of Mount Rushmore. And the reason it has a name for the City of Presidents is scattered throughout downtown of the city, there are statues of all the previous presidents in the United States. So don't ask me who these two are. That looks like Lincoln there, but and we just so there's a lot of people come to see those. The other interesting thing is that in the winter, people will leave coats and scarves on these presidential statues for people that are homeless or that just don't have money to buy clothes to stay warm, so they can have them. Okay. So the school itself, okay, just a reminder, it's if you're raising your hand, we're not going to open up the ability for you to speak. So if you have a question, type it in the chat box, and then somebody will read it to me, or I'll read it, and then I'll answer it that way. There's just too many people to have a back and forth conversation. So South Dakota School of Mines, come on. It's our mascot is Grubby down here on the left hand corner. Like a lot of U.S. Schools, we have a American football team. This is a quad up here. This is a brand new building I call it my building. It's the Nucor Minerals Industry Building. When I started there in June of 2020, we just started fundraising for that building, and it hosts the three departments that I talked about: so mining, engineering, and management, geology and geological engineering, as well as materials and metallurgy. So we're a small school. We've got like 2,500 students total. So there are high schools that are bigger than us in the state and obviously in the country and around the world. So there's our mascot, Grubby. Usually that's a student wearing that costume. So he'll attend some of our sports events and engage with fans and kids. And it's just like most of the sporting teams in the U.S., whether they're at universities, high schools, or professional, have a mascot. It's a kind of a tradition in the U.S. and Canada. So we're America's Best College, ranked in 2024. We have a lot of our students' lifetime earnings are really high. We also have a very strong return on investment. Top one of the best small colleges. Like I said, we're pretty small in America. Second in the nation for supporting our veterans. We have a very active veteran community on campus and a support network for them. And we're number 4 regional Midwest University in the Midwest U.S. News and World Report. And one of the things that really I think sets us apart is we're very student focused. So we have a very our student to teacher ratio is 15 to 1, maybe 20 in some classes, but the average is probably 15 to 1, and a little bit lower in the mining department. So some of the things that we have a lot of different programs beyond mining. And I guess if you're thinking about mining, the mining industry needs all kinds of different people. We need electrical engineers, mechanical engineers. We need truck drivers. We need welders. We need nurses and doctors in some situations at a mine site. So accountants. So there's a wide variety of ways that you can work in the mining industry. I'm going to talk about engineering because that's kind of what I do. But there's a wide variety, and I'd be happy to talk about any of the opportunities that you have questions on. We have, the listed, I won't read them all for you, but there's several programs that we have. One of the ones that's kind of unique is, and we get a lot of interest in this in my geology department, is paleontology. So there seems to be a lot of students that come in to take geology just because they want to do paleontology. Here's some of our student numbers. So like I said, around 2,500 total students. Of that, 2,200 are undergraduate, and 3,000 or 300 or so are graduate students. So we have a very strong relationship with industry. We have 2 career fairs a year, and if you're not familiar with what a career fair is, it's basically a trade show where companies come and set up booths, and students walk around, and companies share the opportunities that they have because they're looking to hire our students. And so we range from anywhere from 160 to 230 companies coming to hire our students. and they're from all over the state. Um, and the average salary for the school is around $75,000 per year. The average salary for the mining students last year was 84,000 and change U.S. numbers. A lot of our students will go to school for 9 months, and then they'll work for the summer, and then some of them will work part time during the school year as well. So, and a lot of the work will be on mine sites or in their discipline if they're not mining engineers. Also fairly active in research. So one of the, right now we're what's called a niche school. We're trying to move to a category R2, which is research category, and to do that we need to have an average of $5 million in research funding a year and graduate 20 PhDs. Obviously, you can see from this graph that we've got well over the $5 million per year, but we're bouncing around on the graduating 20 PhDs a year. So we're hoping to move towards that status in the next few years. Lots of opportunities for students in our department, both lab, hands-on. We take students out to the field, and we're fairly unique, and we have a significant number of courses targeted at international operations in terms of international business, HR, finance. So that's kind of unique to us. We also offer a professional development program. We teach a lot of Caterpillar employees who are not mining engineers about what mining is, probably 100 to 150 of those people a year. And that's ran through the Office of Professional Education, which was started and still is operated by Dr. Andrea Bricky, who's our mine planning specialist. And we've also started modifying some of the offerings that we do through that to actually offer them to other companies. And in my discussions here in Pakistan, we've talked about maybe offering some advanced training for some of your professors in areas that they want to learn more about, and we'll talk more about that as we progress with the visit here. So here's the team. Pardon me. On the left is Ivy Allard. She has a PhD. She's our excuse me business management expert. Dr. Andrea Bricky, who I talked about, she's our mine planning. Then Mark Bowen is 40 years in the industry, retired. Then he came in and he teaches a lot of our mineral economics and our underground mining courses. Kelly McCormick is a geologist with a PhD. She teaches some of our geology courses, and also we have a computer applications where you learn about the different software. Then Rudra Mitra, he's our rock mechanics underground specialist. Jennifer is my admin. Parker is our lab tech, and Pushram Tukaraja is a ventilation and mine health and safety expert. And one of the things that's unique about our team is all of us have worked in industry. Everybody that's up here, and most of us have lived and traveled around the world. Dr. Mitra is from India, studied in the U.S., lived in Australia, lived in South Africa, lived in Germany, now lives in South Dakota. And most of the other people have had similar experiences, which gives us a global perspective on the industry and helps us to impart that knowledge to our students. The other thing that's unique, which you may have already found out, is the mining industry is very small. So we're a very tight community. There are 14 schools in the U.S. that currently offer mining engineering as a degree. I know all the department heads. We meet once a year in person and maybe once more a year virtually to talk about common challenges and opportunities. So we work very closely together. So as I mentioned, student to faculty ratio is 15-1. We have scholarships for undergraduates, both departmental scholarships that are made possible by donations from some of our alumni that are now working and want to give back. We also, because of the work we do with Caterpillar, that generates money that we can use for scholarships as well. And then there are a lot of professional scholarships available through the Society of Mining Engineers, SME, International Society of Explosive Engineers, and other organizations to assist both undergraduate and graduate students. Lots of opportunities to work part-time through the school year as well in the summer. You can earn up to 900 per week, and maybe even more. So it's a significant opportunity to get some real world experience and make money to pay for the degree. Again, if you do at least one summer internship at the university, track the stats, you can make up to 15 to 20% higher starting salary upon graduation. And there are some visa requirements which you would need to be worked out for students to work in the summer. And we have about 60, that number needs to be updated, 60 to 65 undergraduate students, around 30 to 35 master students, 15 of them are international. We have a mix. So any of our graduate programs you can take online. So we can, so about half of our students are taking classes online while they work in the country that they live in, and then they finish a degree and come for graduation if they want to. And we have a thesis, non-thesis master's option. And you see down here at the bottom, we've got 28 non-thesis that are international. A lot of them are from Ghana, a couple from India, one from Indonesia, one from Malawi, and another one from Cameroon. And that's probably changed this presentation, but probably a little bit old. So we have a fairly broad diversity of students that come to study with us. Any questions? Okay. So one of our strengths is that we collaborate very strongly with industry. So when I started there in 2020, we were, they just started this idea of the new building, and then we wanted to create this research consortium where we have companies give money to the university and we identify projects that we can work on with them. And so we created that. It's called the Mining Hub. Caterpillar is a member, as well as a lot of other different companies. And in addition to the Mining Hub, so there's about 10 companies right now that give us money, and we work on projects with them to help them solve problems. Caterpillar is invested in a Caterpillar MineStar Collaboration Center, so it's a research center. They have a full-time CAT employee that sits in our building, and we work on problems with them. And we hire students, undergrad and graduate students, to work on those projects, both part-time through the school year and full-time over the summer. So that's an opportunity for students, again, to get some experience and make some money. And Caterpillar, their goal is they want to solve some of the problems, but they're also looking at if they can hire some of our students, and they have hired some of our students. We are ABET accredited, Engineering Accreditation Commission, and all of the mining engineering programs currently in the US are ABET accredited. It's an internationally recognized accreditation body. So this is our new building. It was a joint effort between the three departments that are in the building: mining engineering and management, geology and geological engineering, and materials and metallurgy. We were able to get from the state of South Dakota just a little over 23 million to support it. The university put in a little over 6 million, and then we fundraised from. It actually ended up being 14 million. We fundraised from donors, and so So my office is up. If I don't know if you can see up here on this corner office, or sorry, on the other end. So we're really excited. It's a state of the art facility, excellent labs, teaching areas, informal areas for students to study as well. And that's where all the departments that I mentioned are sitting. So some of the degrees offered, we have our undergrad degree, and you can find information online, and I'll share this presentation, and they can send it out to you. We also have our masters and PhDs, which I've talked about. We have 100% placement for our students. So most of our students get jobs all of our students right now get jobs in the industry or go on to grad school. We have had PhDs that have gone on to academic positions as well. So within the school at South Dakota, we have our standard degrees that are typically 4 years, but we also created minors. So let's say you wanted to take mining and you wanted to specialize in geology, so that exists. But these minors here are the ones that are unique to our department. The last one is a partnership. But so we have a business management and technology minor. So if you think you want to go into management or leadership at the end of your career, then this provides the capability for you to get more experience and exposure to that. And if you're a civil engineering student and you think you might want to work in mining, so you could do a minor in mining. And then the other one that we just started a couple of years ago is recognizing the need for a better understanding of critical minerals. We created a critical minerals minor, which any of the three departments in the building can take, as well as chemical engineering students or anybody that wants to do the required courses. So we have a PhD, Doctor of Philosophy, and we partnered with Geology and Geological Engineering. So the title is a mouthful, but you can do it with a mining engineering specialization. We also have Masters of Science, and these can be two of these are non-thesis, and then and these are all available online. So the minerals industry management application is a mix of management and it's focused on management. The second one is your more traditional mining engineering, was very technical focused. And for that one, you have to do a thesis or a project. And then the last one is a mix of the two. And so for the mining engineering one, you should have an engineering degree, ideally a mining engineering degree, or you might have to take some courses to come up to speed. But the other two you can do with a bachelor in science. And again, all this information about these courses is available on our website. Again, if you have a Bachelor of Science in mining engineering, it's easy. If you don't have a Bachelor of Science in mining engineering, you may have to take some courses to learn a bit more about mining. For a thesis base, you need to find somebody that will supervise you and advise you on a project. For the management specialization, a Bachelor of Science or a Bachelor of Arts from an accredited university. And then, as I said, the other one will take the same type of students. And you know, the management one and the applications are really designed for online students. And then we have a fundamentals of mining course that we also offer. It's similar to what we offer for Caterpillar. That's self-paced, that you can do it online to learn about mining and the technology. Okay, I gotta move this. Whoops. Are you guys still seeing my screen? I think I did something here.
Your screen is still visible to us.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, I'm just trying to move. Yeah, so one of the values of the online graduate degree is that you can do it while I mean, it's a significant commitment of time, but you don't have to quit your job, and you can, sometimes your employer might pay for it, and so you can upscale your skills without having to move, and create better opportunities for your career. So in the research, as I said, we do the school and the department, we do a fair amount of research. So rock mechanics, a lot of it's geared towards mine health and safety. Underground mine production, that's Dr. Bricky. Innovative mining methods. We're doing stuff with virtual reality. Mine ventilation obviously is a big one for underground mining. Explosives and blasting. Mine health and safety. And just recently, we've also been looking at, we partnered with the civil engineering department and others on using biomining applications or bioleaching, either for actually separating the ore from the waste or for cleaning up the waste so that it's more environmentally acceptable. So Office of Professional Education, this is Dr. Bricky. Its mission is to provide educational opportunities for lifelong learners beyond the traditional degrees. One of the things that you may be aware of is, the mining industry is changing really quickly, as is the world right now in terms of technology. AI wasn't on anybody's radar a couple of years ago. So when you're done your degree, you're going to have to continue to learn as you move through it. And so, what we want to do is to assist faculty in collaboration with industry partners to develop. So this Office for Professional Education, we're focusing on mining. That's how it started, but we also want to work with other departments and create opportunities for those professors to share their expertise to the industry. A, because it helps the industry, and B, because it generates revenue for the departments or the faculty member for scholarships or to support research students. So one of the programs we offer is, it's basically it's an introduction to, just a second, I got to go to my door. Sorry, I'm in a meeting, so can you come back later? Thank you. Sorry about that. That's a first for me. Okay, where was I? So yeah, and this is basically educating people that work in mining but aren't mining engineers about some of the terminology, the mining life cycle, the market, things like that. So you get a wide variety of people that take this, even engineers that are not mining engineers that are working in the industry. 8-month program uses an online classroom, meet for 1.5 hours a week. Sessions are also recorded, and it covers the whole mining life cycle. And we also have some specialized, we can go into more detail on surface mining, underground hard rock, training for supervisors, reputation management, and we have a mining graduate certificate program as well. And again, you can find this information by reaching out to Dr. Bricky, or it's on our website as well. I won't go into the details, but if you're interested in grad school, reach out and you can go through the application. There is an application fee of $35. And again, if most of the faculty, if you're thinking about doing a master's online or in person, so any of the non-thesis are you have to be self-funded. For a thesis, you might get funding from a faculty advisor, but it generally depends on whether that person has funding and that your area of research is something they're interested in. There's opportunity to make some of our students will help with our facilities with lawn mowing and snow removal and stuff like that. So there's opportunities for paid work. And again, if you're interested in applying for undergrad or grad, you can look at these websites. This is where we're located if you want to come visit us or on our website. And then this is a video, and I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. Let me know, somebody that we had created to promote mining to attract undergraduate students from the U.S. To come to our department. Can
Uh,
you hear it?
Dr. Hall, it says that
Yeah.
your screen sharing is paused. Can you maybe try stop sharing and resharing your screen? That might fix it.
That's why I asked a while ago if you could see it.
Yeah, no, I was making sure with my colleagues if I'm not the only one that can't see it.
Okay. Okay. Now can you see it?
Yes, now I can see it.
Okay. Let me see where I'm at. Okay. Yeah. So let's go. Let's see if this video works. Can you hear that?
We
Can
can
you
see,
guys?
but we can't hear that.
Yeah. So well, I'll let you watch it, but and then again, I'll share the presentation and the students can watch it later. I don't know how to get it to play. Let's see the sound through the system. Okay. I'll let it run through. They can watch it at least. Oops. That's not what we wanted. Okay, I've got a few more slides around mining technology, but maybe we can take some questions right now if there are any.
Yeah, so there's quite a few questions in the Q&A box. Would you like to take them now or
Yeah.
towards the end?
Um, let me just I'll just go through the next set of slides, and we can just do questions. So it shouldn't be that long for the next set of slides are pretty short.
All right, perfect.
Okay, can you see my screen again?
Yep, we can see your screen.
Okay, so I just wanted to talk briefly about the importance of mining. Obviously, if you're here on this webinar, you think mining is important or you're interested in it. And so, most countries need mining both for national security, energy security, and we also have to be stewards of the environment. It it provides the materials that creates the infrastructure that we need to do have a quality of life that we have now. Strongly supports the economy. It looks like in the next 5 to 15 years is going to be a significant impact on the Pakistan economy as well. The other thing is it's currently supporting the changes that are happening in the world around moving away from traditional fossil fuel energy to more greener type of energy. So again, demand for minerals is going through the roof. There's the next couple of slides will show some critical minerals breakdown, but what you can see here is that demand versus what we have ability to produce is low. What that means for you is that there's going to be a lot of mines opening up around the world, which means there's going to be a lot of job opportunities, even more, so lots of opportunities for you as students. Again, one of the key examples we like to use is our iPhone with the or your Android phone or whatever phone you have is would not be possible without mining. In North America, we're moving to battery electric vehicles, and I was talking with somebody yesterday, and they're running battery electric trucks at one of the coal mines in Pakistan. So producing those batteries in those trucks would not be possible without mining. So this kind of gives you a breakdown of the different materials or minerals or metals and how they fit into whether it's electric vehicle, grid storage, aerospace energy, wind, solar panels, electric planes as well as another one. So, and this just kind of shows you where a lot of it comes from, and it's probably no surprise that a lot of the material and the critical minerals comes out of China or it's processed in China, which is something that in North America and other countries that we want to make sure that we have a supply of material that supports that's secure or more secure. So, and then when we look at a life cycle of mine, usually the geologist finds something interesting. Then they drill some holes and determine that there's something there of value. It could be gold, copper, silver, nickel. Then once they get enough evidence that there's a potential for a mine there, we do a scoping study, pre-feasibility. That's where the mining engineer would come into place. And then if it makes economical sense, we'll mine it. And then whenever we start thinking about a mine, we have to think about rehabilitation, putting it back to the way it was when we started, or better. The other thing we also have to think about is making sure the community that the mine is going to be built at is okay with it being built there. So we have to engage with the community early and educate them sometimes and show them the value of having it there and train in some situations, train them to be able to work at the mine if they're interested. So modern mining, we're using AI in mining, we're using drones, we're using fully autonomous trucks or trucks that drive themselves around. I've got a video I'll show you a little bit of. Very committed, to being good stewards of the earth. So environmental sustainability, safety is paramount as well. So the mining of today doesn't look like this picture in the bottom left-hand corner. It's very technologically advanced. It requires a wide variety of skills, and it's only going to get more interesting from a technology point of view, in my opinion. So this is a picture of both Caterpillar and Komatsu have fully. So this truck is as big as a 3-story house or 2-story house. It probably weighs 500 tons. So that's like 1 million pounds. And it hauls around 400 tons. So that's another 800,000 pounds or 400,000 kilograms. And so it will drive itself around. And again, you won't be able to hear I assume you can't hear the sound.
If we can't hear the sound, we can see the video.
Okay, then I'll just turn the sound off on my end and um, talk about it as it plays. Yeah, so these trucks, you know, that truck doesn't have an operator in it. It drives itself around the mine site. It's got technology on it to avoid obstacles or stop if it sees an obstacle. And they're operating all over the world. I was at a mine site in Arizona, the first one in the U.S., but they've been operating at least for a decade around the world. And so I've personally gone in some of the larger cities in the U.S. We have fully autonomous taxis or Ubers, and so I've gotten into those, and they're taking me to places as well. So the industry's going to change. This is just one example with these autonomous trucks, and there's lots of questions, and now the desire in the industry is, do we move away from diesel fuel trucks to battery electric? If we do, that's going to have significant impact on how we design our mine and things like that. I think it's an exciting time to be in the industry, and probably also an exciting time for me to answer some questions.
All right, Dr. Hall, are you able to see the Q&A box on if
So, do
you
you want me to read? How do you want to do the questions?
so I can read them out too, but just so that you can have them in front of you in case you miss what I
Sorry, I had
said.
my volume turned down
Sorry, can you
there.
hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear me now? Yeah, I had my volume turned down for the video. So,
No problem. So I'll read the questions out to you, but if you want, you can also open up the Q&A box so that you can see the questions which I'm referring to. So we'll start off at the one at the top from Temur Hashim. Does the MBA program for mining engineering have assistantships like assistantships or teacher assistantships?
so the master's program for mining engineering, if if you're going to do a thesis-based master's, there's a potential for assistantships, but there are not a lot, and you have to be interested. You have to be pretty capable and be working in an area that an existing faculty member, like if you're going to work with me, it would have to be mining equipment technology. I've kind of worked with Dr. Bricky, it'd be mine optimization. So our funding comes from grants. So we have grants that are for very specific projects. So that's how it would work.
All
So
right.
yes, but not unlimited, and they're very specific on what they're working on.
All right. An anonymous attendee asks, I'm an undergraduate student of accounting and finance. We are involved in coal mining in KPK. So just for your own context, west of Islamabad, there's a province or a state, if you like.
Yeah.
And the student has experience of coal mining. So he doesn't have a undergraduate in mining, but his work experience has put him on the field of mining or has aligned him along the field of minings. Could I
Okay.
apply for a Master's of Mining Engineering and Management?
Potentially for the management masters or the applications, unlike if it sounds like their degree is in accounting, or do they have a degree?
They
If
have
they're
an undergraduate degree in accounting and finance,
okay,
but their
so they could,
experience is in mining.
yeah. So they could do the uh, the masters in mining with a management focus, or the masters in mining, which is the applications focus. The hardcore technical mining would be difficult for them to do, if not impossible.
All right. What skills should Pakistani students develop to work in global mining companies, particularly in the US?
Uh that's a that's a that's a big question. So I mean, definitely communication is key. Being able to communicate effectively, understand the global mining industry. Try to get educated in current technologies, current software. And that's one of the things that I'm here working with the U.S. Embassy and U.S. education, is how we can help enhance what's already being taught in Pakistan for mining engineering education, to bring it closer to what a North American company would want if they were going to hire an engineer or a 3-year degree or a 3-year diploma person. So, but the other thing is, is just continually being inquisitive and recognizing you need to learn and ask questions and think. One of the challenges that we're seeing now is, with the ability to just throw something into Chat GPT or Copilot or something and get an answer, or even Google, sometimes those answers are wrong. So we have to always, just stop and say, does this make sense? Um, and maybe do a bit more investigation. So I mean, there's very specific things that we've identified where we're going to try to help some of the schools in terms of technology enhancement for the professors to teach the students. But yeah,
Thank you.
yep.
Shahjan Munir asks, how important is this field in the next 10 to 20 years? That's a pretty good question.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's extremely important. I mean, like if you look at in the U.S. in 2015, that was the peak of the number of students in mining engineering in the U.S. and Canada, for that matter. We had about 1,500 students studying mining in the U.S. By 2020, that number dropped to about 550. Now we're probably around 650 students studying mining in the U.S. So there's a tremendous demand for mining engineers because of two things. One, there's a lot of people that are like my age and older that are going to retire. And two, as you remember that slide that I showed with the predicted increase in demand for mining for materials, then those two combined are going to create a significant demand. And there's a shortage of mining engineers right now, and so that the importance of the industry and the importance of being a mining engineer will give you tremendous career opportunities.
All right, we have a pretty good question. So the student asks, Umar Pirzada asks, I have a background in electrical engineering with over 10 years of industry experience, including infrastructure and energy projects. Given my background in electrical engineering and a decade's worth of experience in infrastructure and energy projects, what specialization within mining engineering would allow me to contribute most effectively, especially in areas like automation, energy systems, or equipment reliability?
Um, so if she's talking about taking a master's, then either the applications masters that we offer, where she could take technical courses. She could also do the mining specific masters, but she might have to take a couple of courses to upgrade. But with their experience, um, it definitely she would have add value to the industry by taking some um, enhanced education in that area.
All right. All right.
But she
For
could probably get hired by a mining company today, I suspect.
okay,
It
that's
was a she. It was a she, correct?
sorry. It was a
It
he.
was
Umar Pirda.
oh
It was a
he.
he.
Sorry, my apologies.
No worries. All right, now this is coming from the context of a high schooler. Sardar
Okay.
Alian Zaid asks, those students who have studied pre-medical in their high school, can they also apply for undergrad in mining? Now, let me give you a little bit of context before you answer this question. So, in Pakistan, we have a few A-level systems. Some are international A-level, international high school systems, like the Cambridge International A-levels or the IB. But we also have our local education system, our local high school system, and that's divided in two main branches. There's other fields, but the two major branches which students study is called FSC, meaning Faculty of Science Pre-Medical, or Faculty of Science Pre-Engineering. Uh, if a student goes along the route of pre-medical, then their focus is going to be on biology, chemistry, and physics in their high school. But if the student goes along the pre-engineering route, then their focus will be on mathematics, physics, and chemistry. So the student is basically asking, I have done my high school with a focus on pre-medical, meaning they've studied extensively biology, chemistry, and physics, not
Right.
mathematics as much. Do they still, are they still able to apply for an undergrad in mining
Are you talking in at
as an
my
undergrad
school?
applicant? As an undergrad
No,
applicant, yes.
but I mean, are they eligible to apply in Pakistan for an undergrad in mining?
No, your university.
No, but I guess the question is, would they be eligible in Pakistan?
Uh, I wouldn't assume so. I think they're referring to the
I,
university as an undergraduate applicant to South Dakota Mines.
right. Well, they would have to bring their math skills up to the level required for an engineering degree. And they might be able to do that depending on what level of math. Have they taken any math, any calculus?
So, in pre-high school, there is math. I'm not sure if there's calculus.
Or
In
if there's algebra and linear
both,
algebra and
so
trigonometry at least?
the student most likely has taken. I haven't done the local system. I did A
Right.
levels. So,
Yep.
but according to as far as I know, again, this is just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
me using the
So,
best of my knowledge. They have studied trigonometry, algebra. They have not gone into integration, differentiation. They've not gone into
yeah,
calculus,
okay.
most likely, but they do
So,
have the basics like trigonometry, algebra, linear
so that
equations.
they would probably be eligible to get accepted. And we have students do a math test to see where they're at for math. So they might have to take um, an introduction, a pre-calculus math course before they go into calculus. But but most likely they would get accepted. Yeah.
All right. Sardar Ali and Zahid, I would advise you to email the university. And with the email, also share the syllabus of the FSC pre-medical and the metric which you have done, specifically the math in metric, meaning pre-high school. That way, the university could also get an idea of where you stand in terms of your mathematical knowledge. All right. Omar Pirzada asks, and would South Dakota Mines be a suitable place for someone with my profile to transition into mining at the graduate level? Okay, so I think this is the same person. This is the same person who has the extensive experience in
Oh, the
electrical
electrical
engineering.
engineer. That yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So with the profile in electrical engineering, would South Dakota Mines be a suitable place for them to transition into mining at the graduate level?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, it depends on whether they want. There, they say a PhD. It looks like right in the text. Was that a different student?
That is a
Oh, I'm looking at. I'm further
Yeah,
down.
I'm
Okay.
at the very top. The question from Omar Pirizada.
Okay. Yeah. So it would be an opportunity to transition to do a mining engineering specialization.
Perfect. What students should an intermediate or meaning a high school student take to secure a full scholarship in mining or geological engineering? First of all, I guess the question should be, does the university offer full scholarships at the undergraduate level?
No, we offer scholarships based on ACT, or which is a standardized test in the U.S. I think it's U.S. only. So, if you get, I think the highest score you can get in that is like a 34 or a 36. So we would offer students about $6,000 a year if they had that. That would be the university would offer them for 4 years. The department would offer them if they came into mining maybe another 4,000 a year for 2 years, which would be about half what it costs to attend.
All right. You mentioned ACT. So there are some students in Pakistan who have taken ACT, but
Yeah,
the majority of the students here take SAT. Is SAT considered?
I think SAT will count as well. Yeah,
Okay, thank you. Any links related to the courses offered, fee structure? Is there any links we can maybe paste in the
yeah.
chat for the
Um,
students?
well, I mean, if they Google South Dakota mines and go, I mean, they're in the presentation. I don't have the links. I would just have to go Google them, so I can do that. But it's kind of
Okay. Actually, I think we'll answer this question or leave it at the webinar will be posted on our YouTube page following this session. So you can go back. You did briefly speak on the courses for masters and undergrad. So I would advise Fahimullah to please visit our YouTube channel and then you can watch a recap of this webinar for
and
the
I can share this presentation with you if there's some way to get it to the participants.
Yep. If there's any participants who are interested, you can email islamabad@educationusa.org for this presentation, and then we'll be able to send it to you. Again, that's islamabad@educationusa.org. If I could have my colleague Nasir or Laiba please type that in the chat box, send that to everyone in the chat, islamabad@educationusa.org, if you would like to get the presentation. All right. What are the admission requirements for South Dakota Mines? Do students need IELTS or are there alternatives?
Um, they need IELTS, or I don't know what the other one is, but you need a showing. I'm not sure because you, I think you guys are considered teaching in English, right? At your high schools? That
Yes.
English is a
So the local high school, the high schools teaching the local educate using the local high school system, they are not teaching
okay,
English, but the international high schools, such as the ones offering international programs like A levels and
right,
IB, they teach in English from I think from pre-K and kindergarten all the way up to high school.
right, yeah. So you would need some demonstration of your English capabilities, either IELTS or something else.
Perfect. Thank you. Another good question. Anika Imtiaz asks, how does the US compare globally in mining innovation compared to countries like Canada or Australia?
Good question. I think that if you look at the key e- equipment manufacturers and technology providers are in the U.S. If you look at like at Caterpillar, Komatsu, although Komatsu is a Japanese company, but so I would say the U.S. is. I mean, all the countries are very strong, but I would say the U.S. is leading in some areas of innovation, and in other areas, Canada and Australia are leading. But the again, but if you look at the people working at the companies in Canada, the US, or vice versa, we all have studied in other countries or spent time in other countries because the industry is so interconnected, right? Like, um, but I'd say the US is leading in some of the innovation. Now, what they're not leading in adopting it, like if you look at the autonomous haul trucks or the trucks, self-driving trucks, they've been in operation in Canada and the US for 10 or 15 years, but we have not. We just started operating them in the US in the next, sorry, Canada and Australia. And the US, we just started operating them about 2 years ago.
Thank you. Sardar Alian asks, Sir, can you elaborate the important use of AI and their significance that your university recognizes in mining industry and how are students using it?
Um, like AI is, I mean, it's still changing so quickly. We're trying to use it. Both, we're trying to educate our students how to use it appropriately. I've got some faculty that don't want them to use it at all. I was at a meeting yesterday where they were talking about you could use AI. Companies were creating AI tools that you could give it some of your geology survey data, and then it would tell you where to drill your hole. So it's going to change how we approach mining, or how we approach everything really. But we're still figuring out how to integrate it into our curriculum and how to use it effectively.
Thank you. Okay. Omer Paracha asks, what are your areas of research in mining engineering?
Mine is on the equipment and technology side, so reliability, maintenance, um, a little bit on AI, a little bit on innovative technologies, things like that. But because I'm a department head, I don't do a lot of research right now. So
Okay. Thank you. This question's already been answered. What should a student start learning if they want a career in mining engineering?
yeah.
I suppose let me change this question up a little bit. Can you maybe speak on some of the short courses that online short courses, which maybe aren't, the typical undergrad or master's program? Are there additional courses which South Dakota Mines offers, which a student can take virtually from Pakistan to maybe improve their
Um,
profile?
the ones through the Office for Professional Education, that there's some there that they can take. Um, you know, there's like if you're not in mining at all, you want to learn about mining. There's the mining primer 101, which is it's a 16-week course that we talked about. It's an hour and a half a week. There's a few others. I mean, the mining primer is the main one. The other ones are still they're available, but we wouldn't offer them to one person because it's not cost effective.
Okay, got it. All right, so Fahimullah asks, I hold a PhD in exploration geophysics, and I have been working in the mineral exploration. I've been working in mineral exploration for several years. I am now interested in transitioning into economic geology. What courses or professional opportunities would you recommend for me?
Uh, I mean, economic geology is a real, we have a real shortage in the North America on economic geologists. So, I would suggest that if she could do geology that are available, or she could look at doing another, like I mean, the area that she's done, her background should position her well to be an economic geologist. She would just have to take some courses that are specialized in that. I'd have to look to see what we have to offer, but a lot of our geology courses aren't available online. But there definitely would be interest in having someone like them come into um, economic geology.
Thank you. Um, are there any, what do the PhD scholarships look like? Specifically, PhD
They're similar to the
scholarships.
masters.
Sorry?
They're similar to the master.
Similar mass. Okay.
They're similar to you need to find a supervisor that has the funding in the area that you want to do your research, and they need to be willing to work with you. So,
All right. All right. We already spoken on prospectives PhD. This question has been answered. And I guess which professors in your department are actively involved in research and taking PhD students? Would you happen to know, or all professors pretty much?
no, I mean the ones that are actively involved in research are, and I mean if you're looking for funding as a PhD student, that's different. Would be Dr. Bricky, Dr. Mitra, Dr. Tukaraja, and myself. So four of us. I don't think any of them have funding for a new PhD student right now. They all have students that they're working with and their funding is being used for them. Um, so yeah,
Thank you, Dr. Hall.
yep.
All right. Since we have
So,
crossed
and
the
I
hour,
have to wrap up in a couple of minutes.
yeah,
I've got
that's what I was
my
about
car's going.
to I was
Okay,
about
thank
to
you.
say.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, students, if this was an in-person session, we would have been able to go until 12. But as you know, Education USA usually keeps our virtual sessions to an hour's worth of time. We've gone a little bit over. Dr. Hall, I'm just going to end with a very, very softball question. You've been here in
sure.
Pakistan for a few days now.
Yep.
How has your impression been? How are you liking it so far?
I've enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean it's I've traveled. I've been to Turkey and India and South America and other countries. So it's a nice, the country's nice. People are friendly. People want to learn. They want to better and improve the education system for the students and create opportunities for the young people. So I've enjoyed the food is excellent. Um, uh, you know, there's a bit of chaos around my hotel, but that's all good. But yeah, it's great. Hopefully I'll get a chance to come back.
Thank you very much. And to the audience members, thank you for taking the time out for your insightful questions, for taking the time out to be a part of this webinar, for learning today about careers and opportunities in mining and mining engineering. Dr. Hall, we wish you a pleasant visit while you're here in Pakistan. And thank you again for taking out the time to educate the general public about the opportunities in this field and bringing awareness to them. Thank you again, and that's a wrap for everyone.
Awesome, thank you. And anybody with questions, if they want, they can reach out to me as well. So
Perfect. And if anyone maybe needs to get connected with Dr. Hall, if you missed their email, our email is in the chat, islamabad@educationusa.org. The email is again mentioned in our chat. You can reach out over there, and then we can help you get connected. Thank you again, everyone, for taking out the time. We wish you all a great rest of your evening. Oh, sorry, afternoon. Bye.
thank you. I gotta run.
Bye.